For most of us, our home is a quiet attack on our nervous system. We are surrounded by these background noises that unintentionally keep us tired, stressed out, and living in scarcity and survival mode. As someone who spent years unlearning the mindset and noise that I had around stuff, decluttering my life has been a game changer. Today, we are talking about 5 common things that make that noise and how getting rid of them will reset your nervous system to level up your life. Let's get into it. The first one is surfaces that collect instead of clear. I want you to think about the surfaces in your home right now. Your kitchen counter, your bathroom counter, the dresser in your bedroom, and be honest, do you actually know what's on them right now? I am gonna call myself out here because that space for me is usually my nightstand. When I am not focusing on it, my nightstand goes wild. Jewelry, perfume, vitamin bottles, and random chargers, my inhaler, safety pins, none of these are junk. But every single time that I pass by it, something in me registers that things are off. Something is not quite right because your nervous system is your body's communication network. It is what takes in information, it processes it, and it tells your body how to respond. To make sure that it has you covered, it is constantly scanning your environment for cues about safety and what needs your energy. Even when you think you've tuned out, your body hasn't. It is still working. And so cluttered surfaces don't just look messy, they signal to your brain that there is unfinished business in your space, that you're behind. Multiply that across every surface in your home, and you understand why you can feel exhausted before you have done a single thing. This is where we want to start reframing our mindset. A woman who is leveling up does not tolerate unresolved surfaces. To start dealing with it, here's the action step that I want you to take. Pick one surface this week, just one. Take everything off. Then only put back what you actively choose to have there. Not what keeps drifting there, but what you are choosing. After you get it done and you walk past that surface the next time, I want you to notice and register what your body does. That is your nervous system taking a nice big exhale. The next thing is the just in case pile. I honestly do not think a Christy Toss list would be complete without addressing a just in case pile of clutter. 7 backup charges, half broken items that you have been meaning to fix, but you're keeping just in case. Multiples of things that you only ever use one of, and supplies for emergencies that have never come. And you know what? I'm gonna give it a different name. I'm gonna call it visual static. Every single one of those items is a physical manifestation of a scarcity mindset, of living in survival mode, because some part of you doesn't trust that you will have what you need tomorrow. You kept the broken thing because throwing it away feels wasteful, and waste feels dangerous. That clutter is not just taking up space. It is sending your brain messages on a loop. The world is a dangerous place where things are hard to find. Hold on, keep it just in case. No wonder you feel anxious, because your home is literally arranged around the belief that there won't be enough, and you cannot build a life of abundance inside of that belief. There are moments in life where survival mode and scarcity thinking do keep you safe. And if that has been your story, I want to honor that. That was my story. And I had to figure out how to come beyond that, because at some point, that thinking stops being about protection and starts being a prison. And it is directly in conflict with your ability to level up. So here's your action step. Find just one category of just in case clutter this week: the backup pile, the broken items, the filler, and clear it out completely. And then when the urge comes to hold onto something, just in case, I want you to stop yourself and ask honestly, am I doing this out of faith or out of fear? Every time you choose faith over fear in your own home, you are actively rewiring the messages your nervous system has been living inside of. The next one is decor that you have stopped seeing. Your home is not meant to be this random collection of just things that you've accumulated, but a space that is curated intentionally for who you are right now. So I used to have all of these little decorative things that I got for a really good deal and put all around the house that, for lack of a better word, were just cheap. If you don't know my story, to make it really brief, I had a very hard season in my 20s. So I surrounded myself with stuff to fill the space and feel like I had my life together. I had all these things that, in my words exactly, made my home feel like a home. Oh my goodness, that poor girl. Bless her heart, she was doing the best she could. But the thing is that even when I moved out of that season, I still had all of these things and I put them up as decor, and they had been there so long that they had just become part of the background. Like, why would I not have them? When I started decluttering, every time I was cleaning or doing something around the home, some part of my brain just recognized this gap between who I am now and what my space was reflecting. You might say that was small, but low level friction and noise causes stress. Your home should be a reflection of who you are and where you're going. When it is reflecting something that you've outgrown, maybe that is old taste or an old season, some old energy, you feel slightly off in your own space without even being able to name why. Women who are living in their next season have homes that feel like them. Men too. I know I have a few men out there. You're allowed to let go of things that were right for a different version of you, but that no longer fit. That's not waste, that's growth. So here's your action step. I want you to walk through one room this week and notice the things that you have not consciously looked at in months. And then ask yourself, if I was moving into this space today, would I still bring this? If the answer is no, babe, you already know the answer. The next one is the I'll deal with it later pile. The chair in the bedroom that has become a clothes rack. The paperwork that you haven't touched, the thing that's waiting for repair, the closet where things go to be forgotten. My husband and I, we have a rule in our house that if we use it, we put it back where it belongs. A few months ago, we got some new chairs in our bedroom, and the first thing that we said to each other when we got them was that nothing but pillows is going on these chairs, because this type of mess starts innocently. A jacket that he wore for an hour and took off, or a sweatshirt that I put on to run an errand. None of it dirty, and it doesn't feel urgent at the time, but those chairs will quickly go from calming bedroom furniture to a pile of foolishness that is frustrating the both of us. So we just don't do it. Also, shoes. If we wear them, we need to put them back exactly where they belong. That is an easy example, but think of a harder one, like paperwork, which I am not even fully going to get into, because that is an even deeper layer of this tendency that we have to deal with things later. The paperwork piles up and we end up having a mountain of stuff that now feels very overwhelming to deal with. These I will deal with it later things are some of the loudest noise in your house, because a pile of things that you haven't dealt with, every single item in that pile is a question that you refuse to answer. Your brain cannot close this loop. It can't let go. And until you decide, your nervous system is holding every one of those questions open. You don't fully get to rest in your own home. The mindset reframe here is to stop just managing clutter and start deciding. If it is not a yes for your future self, it is a no for your home. The woman that you're becoming, she knows that she cannot afford to have open loops just like scattered around the home. So she handles it, closes it, decides, and then she lets it go. Your action step here is to find the pile, the one that you keep not dealing with. I want you to set a timer for 20 minutes this week and go through it. The goal is to start deciding. So handle it, put it away, toss it, or give it an actual home. Real quick before we keep going, if you're watching this and you're thinking, I know what I need to do, I just can't seem to stay consistent with it, I want to tell you about The Collective. It's my membership for women who are tired of starting over and who are ready to actually build consistency in their lives. Every month, we focus on one area, we set a clear standard, and we follow a simply weekly rhythm so that you're not just inspired for a day, you are actually seeing change over time. And the best part about it is you're not doing it alone. You're doing it with a group of women who are on the same journey, showing up for their lives, regardless of what season they're in. So if that's for you, the link is in the description. I would love to have you there. All right, let's keep going. The next thing is the past self anchor. Clothes that don't fit, a hobby kit that is collecting dust, gifts from people that you no longer speak to, equipment for a version of yourself that you tried, but you didn't really do anything with. I want you to think about what you are holding onto right now that belongs to a chapter that is already closed. Do you have it in your mind? Great, because you have been building a museum. Every one of those things is an exhibit. This is who I was going to be. This is who I tried to be. This is who someone else thought I was. And you walk through that museum every single day without realizing it. These things are draining because every time you look at those jeans from 5 years ago or that guitar that you played twice, your brain registers this as failure. Not in a way that you would immediately notice, but it is quietly and consistently telling you you fell short. You didn't follow through. You used to be something different. That is not the energy of a woman who is leveling up. That is the energy of a woman who is anchored to a ghost. You are not who you used to be. Accept that. That's not a tragedy, but it is the whole point. Something that has been a particularly hard lesson, but also super freeing, is that I don't have to keep evidence of every chapter that I've lived through. The woman that you are becoming, she doesn't need a museum. She needs space to keep growing. And you can't have that space with all of this stuff around stifling growth. So here's your action step for this. I want you to find one past self anchor this week, one item that belongs to a version of you that no longer exists. Donate it, toss it, pass it on, whatever. You will find that you feel lighter because the weight of holding onto these things is your nervous system trying to figure out which version of you it's supposed to be protecting, and now you are giving it a clear signal. 5 things, 5 different surfaces, spaces, and categories, but every single one of them points to the same root, your identity. That's the standard we're raising this week. We are in week 6 of our Level Up by Summer series, where every week for 12 weeks, we pick one area of our lives and make one intentional upgrade to raise the standard. If this is your first video in the series, that is okay. Everything we cover today stands on its own, but I will leave a link so that you can definitely go back and check out the rest. Our identity and how we see ourselves will either build us up or it is going to keep us stuck. Something that I often come back to on this channel over and over again is the idea of stepping into having a privileged mindset. And when I talk about it, this is not the way the world usually defines it, but a deep understanding that you are worthy and that your worth is not tied up in how you look or how much money you have or how talented you are, but that you inherently have and were created with value. And because of that, you can expect the best life, that life is available to you. And how you show up for yourself, how you show up in the world every single day is a direct reflection of that belief. Everything that we talked about today, the unresolved services, the decor from a past season, the pile that you keep avoiding, the museum of who you used to be, and the just in case stockpile, every single one of them is evidence of a woman who has not yet fully decided that she is worthy of better, because some part of her is still operating from an older belief about what she's allowed to have, who she's allowed to be, how she's allowed to even take up space, and what kind of space she's allowed to live in. Your home should feel like exhaling, like arriving somewhere safe, where maybe the world can have the rest of you, but this space is yours. You are not behind. You are not failing. You just haven't made the decision yet. So make it this week. Now it's your turn. Tell me in the comments, which of the 5 is living loudest in your home right now? Whatever it is, drop it below and just name it. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like and share with a woman who needs her home to also start working for her. Also, if you're not subscribed, like, what are you doing? I'm gonna need you to jump on that. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next for week 7. Mwah! Bye for now.